everyone, and welcome to the After Party.
Oh!
Woo! This might be the most real After Party yet, because we are recording this one in a hotel room right off of Hollywood Boulevard.
Holy shit. Now, we haven't really been partying. I don't know if you could describe the last 24 to 48 hours as partying. They were draining, they were exciting, they were thrill-seeking. I don't know if they were partying exactly, but we are in the afters of that. But maybe visually, most kind of after-party like or after-party vibes is we're recording this from bed.
Yeah, that's very true. I think we're recording this. I think we'll probably stick the full video up on Patreon or YouTube or somewhere. But Kit and I are in bed together. We are recording this podcast.
For the first time, we are exploring each other's bodies. No, we're recording this. If it sounds a little different, we've got all our regular recording gear. We're not phoning it in completely.
No.
We've got all our professional recording gear that we packed in our suitcases. But we are recording in Rory's hotel room.
We are. Yeah, we are. You know, and yes, we did promise that we would never film anything in bed together after that weekend. But, you know, times have changed. And when you're on the road, when you're living that US tour rockstar life, sometimes you got to jump in bed with another dude.
We're just two lonely cowboys out in the open trail. We really, really are. But Rory, well, let's start by, the room itself. I think whenever you're walking around, it's not until you start recording something like this that you realize how cavernous it does sound.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too echoey, people listening to this.
But this is a nice ass room. I mean, of course, Rory has managed to trash it within 12 hours.
All right, watch it. Oh, you're one of those motherfuckers who hangs up all their clothes.
There's
and
actually
fills
nowhere
out
to hang. Okay, there's
some
two
pegs
hangers
on the wall. Yeah, it's not much, is it?
There actually isn't anywhere to hang anything. But
look, we're here for how long are we here for? 2 more nights.
Yeah, 2 more after
2 more nights, and then we're literally moving to another place. All right, so you don't want to get too comfy. You don't want to settle down because you're going to be hitting. You're like a cowboy. You're going to be hitting the old dusty trail once again. Barely taking your boots off.
I am the exact same, to be fair, which is I try to touch my suitcases. I don't even barely open the suitcase. I just kind of unzip it a crack and then grab out a piece of clothing when I need it. I try to not even open the thing. But we have picked, if you're watching this on the patreon.com website, you'll be seeing, this is a nice room.
It's an okay room, yeah. It's pretty good.
We basically, I think our theory, we're staying in, I would say, a variety of establishments over the next, 14 days while we're in America. But our theory was, and hopefully it's currently proving true, was that if we pick somewhere, we're going to be like shattered after coming from London and everything. Let's at least start off on a high note before we start staying in trailer parks, sofas, and tunnels.
This tour is like that meme of the drawing of the horse. It starts out really detailed and then by the end is like just a smiley face of a horse. I don't know if you could say that we're necessarily starting off this trip in the classiest way possible, because even though we've only been 24 hours essentially into the tour so far, this has been possibly the most chaotic and stress-inducing 24 hours of my entire life.
Do you think?
I think so. I think let's wind back the clock. What we're going to do today on the after party is break the format a little bit and just give you guys a little recap of the last 24 hours.
Yes, because normally in the after party, we promise behind the scenes, but as you guys well know by this stage, as a podcaster, often the last 24, 48, 72 is just like, clocking into the studio, recording podcasts, that kind of day-to-day stuff. And sure, lots of interesting paranormal things to talk about. But for once, on tour, we are going to be, life will be happening to us at an expeditious rate every day.
Right. Starting with Kit's visa.
Right. Yeah. So last week on the after party, I think the last update we had was... And hey, we can get as dark as we need to here because the point is I'm here now. I'm here now, so it's all funny.
Yeah, so we can tell you everything.
It is funny.
Yeah.
But, we were laughing through the pain a little bit last week when we talked about the visa process, and I kind of assured everyone.
Did you say visa?
Visa.
Oh, visa?
The visa process, the vis-a-vis process.
The vis-a-vis, yeah, vis-a-vis the process.
I said, it's all good. I'm having my interview at the embassy. What are you looking at?
There's someone changing stuff out the window in a different room. I think it's a maid changing.
There's also
stuff.
someone playing fucking rock music, live rock music above us or something. I had my interview at the embassy and I told you it's all good. They said it was all good. And you were like, that's cool. When will it be approved and you can fly? And I was like, to TBC. Hopefully in time for my flight on Wednesday.
Yeah, because the flight is seed. The flight is very seed. So having a visa that's TBC is a little bit worrying.
I feel like I have TB, tuberculosis, with the stress induced by all this.
I'm going to need some CBD to deal with the TBC. TBH.
This is me in the interview.
You're having a stroke. I need this visa ASAP. Yeah, it basically, it came in essentially as last minute as it physically could. You were on your way to the airport with no visa when the email hit the airbox. Essentially, you were.
I was. I dropped off my daughter at the babysitter that morning. And
possibly for the last time, depending on the visa
well, not the
issue.
last time for 2 weeks. And the babysitter was like, "Hey, how's Cora? You know, she keeping well?" I'm like, So there's a thing. So there's a thing today. I was like, I might be collecting Cora early. And she was like, oh, like when? I was like, I don't know. It might be. And she was like, all right, well, all you need to know is we're going to like a play group this morning, but like, I'm sure you won't need her by like 11 a.m. And I was like, just let me know where it is though. Just let me know in case I need to turn up last minute,
right?
Grab Cora, bring her to her grandmother.
I mean, as a caretaker, if a parent is dropping off a child and says, I don't know when I'll be back, just drop the child off at the fire station
services,
now. Yeah, he's not coming back.
And then I came back about 3 hours later. Normally she stays for like 9 hours. I came back about 3 hours later and was like, we need to go. I'm taking her now. We need to go. And I explained, I was like, when I came here this morning, I didn't have a visa to get into America. I do now, so I gotta go. The visa came in a few hours before I was due to fly to London to start my journey to do a flight the next morning, first thing to Los Angeles. It's as last minute as possible. And that was with favors called in as well, with like, we got our immigration lawyer to call the embassy and be like, normally they ship it to a location and I pick it up. They were like, he needs to come to your office and grab it right now.
Yeah.
So
it was crazy. It was
have we learned anything?
We've learned lessons.
Okay.
I feel like everything that's gone wrong kind of on the tour so far is like, let's just write that down and come back to it in a couple of weeks and figure it out. There's not enough time to do a post-mortem just yet.
And there was a funny moment I told Rory yesterday when I did go to collect the visa. They were like, hey, collect it off the security guard at the front of the embassy. and the security guard was really nice. He was like, hey, come on in. Oh, yeah, your kit. Yeah, we got your thing here. And he was like, hey, take out that passport and make sure all the details are right on the visa. Because if they're wrong, like once you've walked out of here, like that's it. Like we can't correct anything. I was like, hey, that's a really good shout. He was like, is the gender right? Yes. Is the date of birth right? Yes. And he like panicked. He was like, whoa. He's like, look at the expiration date. He's like, that's in like 2 weeks. He's like, this is wrong. He's like, that's for this year. That's for 2023. No, that's up for October 2023. And I was like, yeah, man, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? To go through all this effort for a visa that only lasts for like 14 days. I was like, no, that's actually exactly right.
Yeah, we were kind of joking. He'd be like, well, no, this can't be right because you paid enough money for a permanent green card. It's like, well, it says you have a 2-week visa, but you guys paid enough money for permanent citizenship. Is this a typo? It's not, sir. It's not.
He's like,
it's called expedited processing.
He's like, your kit, right? The whale? The guy who everybody's calling the whale, he'll do anything, pay anything to get into America. So I got the visa,
saw that video that the corporate had of you on your knees saying, I'm a little baby, give me my visa.
Please, Joe Biden, let me in. But I got it. I got that little slip of paper that
Ew.
I want to post, but I won't be for identity fraud reasons. But it's crazy. It's crazy to go through that process and then finally come out the other side with, I've now got like a sheet in my passport with like a fucking eagle on it and my face. And
Yeah, I feel you've made me feel more grateful for just being born into U.S. citizenship.
yeah, right.
I feel like I'm experiencing what it's like to be one of those dudes who just naturally has a six pack. Who just
Yeah.
is lean and like tone enough that they've always had it, and they're like, I don't know, did you work hard to get your six pack? And it's like, yeah, I did actually. I went to the gym a lot.
And if I stop working for 5 fucking minutes, I won't have a
It's
six pack
gone.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's weird, after all this stress and this processing, and then it's like, cool. I'll see you on the other side though. I joined a different line, and they walk me through. And even though like I haven't lived here since I was 4 years old,
Yeah.
it's very strange.
I did think that was nice. I did think that was really nice that, when you come to another country, you want, like in Hawaii, right? You arrive at the airport and they famously put over, the ring
Aloha.
of the
Never
ring
been.
of flowers around your neck. No, never been. You can't even imagine what it would take to get into Hawaii. But that's a really nice thing.
The same thing, by the way.
Is that
it's in America. So.
yeah, okay. Whenever you arrive, Rory, because he's American, he just kind of, it's like, hey, there's a line over here for Americans. He breezes through, as Rory always says. They salute you and say, welcome home, brother. And then you
Not far off.
You walk through the gift shop. But for me, because they knew I was flying from Britain, they want to make us feel at home, so they make us join a really long queue. And that just, as a British kind of person or person living in Britain,
Right.
we just feel right at home.
Yeah.
It's like, because it would be too much of a shock if we just were like let loose instantly. So it's like a nice long queue, 2 to 3 hours.
Great. No
of just
AC,
queuing.
no AC or air conditioning, because as a British person, that would confuse you.
Yes.
Where's this air coming from?
Yeah.
You'd be overwhelmed
Yeah,
immediately.
no clocks, no sense of where you are or what you're doing, but just a nice solid queue to kick things off. But we got through, and now we are in. We're not going to jump ahead right away because I got the visa, but we got to talk about the flight journey too.
Yeah, it was an interesting process. I think we were both so happy that the visas had come in and everything was going to be fine that we both were just so ecstatic to make it on to the flight.
Yeah.
And actually depart from the airport.
Rory had a Bloody Mary.
I did.
An hour before the flight.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's my version of the day before the flight is I had so much to do with so little time that I just decided to not sleep before the flight. Because there were, of course, because of our luck, there were train strikes on the day we had to leave to the airport. So there were essentially no services to get down there. So I was like, cool, I think I have to leave at 5 a.m. to make it on time. So if I just stay up and don't sleep, not only will I not struggle to wake up for the flight, but I've got 5 more hours now of getting shit done before I fly.
Yeah, whenever I saw you in the airport, I was like, yeah, how was that journey and everything? And you were like, well, I didn't sleep. So it actually went pretty nicely because I just worked through the night and then got the train. And I was like, oh, why didn't you sleep?
You're asking me this now? Because I still don't have an answer.
I think it just illustrated, I guess I know that mine and Rory's lifestyles are quite different.
Yeah.
But I guess it illustrates because maybe your bedtime is normally too close to 5 a.m.
Yes.
for you to necessitate going down to sleep for like 3 or 4 hours or something. Whereas for me, I'm like, but you went to bed at 8:30 p.m., right? So that would have been plenty of time.
Right.
Plenty of time to sleep.
I probably would have gone to bed at 1.
Yeah.
Gotten 4 hours, which isn't bad, but I was like, I would wake up and then be really stressed about packing, leaving, locking up, everything. So I was like, if I just stay up, it should be fine. And then, hey, I'll sleep on the flight. That's
Right.
what I'll do. I'll sleep on the flight.
A place that is famous for how luxurious and dependable the sleep is. It's just everyone knows as soon as you get on that flight, you just switch off like a light and you stay down the entire time. Everyone knows.
And that brings us to chapter 3 of the last 24 hours. It's this tour is a lot of flights, a lot of hotels and things. So because it's Kit, myself, and a small team with us, we're having to, go pretty budget, keep margins slim, which required us to book a flight with an airline I'd never even heard of before, called Norse Air.
Yes, not to be confused with Norwegian Air or any of the other flagship national airlines. This is, it's like you have British Airways and then you got British Airways. It's like, oh, is this affiliated with the British? Nope.
Yeah.
It's run by a bunch of geezers.
It's a similar airline in the same way that a cereal called Cocoa Pops is the same as Cocoa Puffs. Right. It's like, it doesn't taste the same. It's half the price for half of the nutritional value. And that's kind of what this flight was like. Hey, I'm not going to put Norse Air on blast because they did get us here with minor delays.
Absolutely minor.
And there was a screen available
with motion pictures,
yeah.
with technically feature-length videos available to watch.
Right. I think the reality of our situation really set in when I saw one customer asking for a blanket, and the air hostess,
because they were cold, yeah.
The air hostess said that'll be $8.
Right, yeah. That'll be $1.50.
It's like, I don't even know if you could legally do that. Charge people for blankets and water.
It's like,
like even at a hurricane center where they've rescued people from their homes, they don't charge people for the basic human necessities.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get food. Thankfully we were hungry enough in the morning. We did eat, but I had to beg. I had to beg twice on the... I was so dehydrated. A notorious baby bladdered little bitch like me, I only went to the bathroom to pee twice in 12 hours. That's how bad it was. I had to beg for like a glass of water. And when I got one, it was like, they were like, here you go, you little bitch. And then they splashed my face. But it was like a thimble size.
Yeah. No food, no drinks. I mean, all available for a very high price.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're just being cheap. We could have paid more for the flight, paid more for everything. But it was just funny to be on a budget airline as well.
Yeah. But, they did get us here reasonably on time, as I said. And we had kind of a funny experience where, as I breezed through security. Kit took a little bit longer while he was probably having his anal cavities explored by the American customs.
I don't want to talk about it.
Luckily, as paranormal investigators, we're used to the probing, so that kind of comes second nature to us.
Right. I went to the immigration officer and dropped my trousers, and he was like, "Whoa, we're not there yet, Chief."
They asked, "How's your day today?" And Kit spread his cheeks on the countertop. What are you doing?
Real talk, I was so nervous about the immigration interview. We've talked about it many times before, but American citizens won't know what it's like to be grilled by the immigration officer, unless they do that in other countries, if they're as famously aggressive in other countries. Now, I will say these immigration officers were by and large very friendly. I could see them chopping it up, laughing it up with a lot of people who were going through. They were friendly. But the guy I got, as soon as I walked up to the, they're like, come here, please. I walk up and I'm borderline shaking in my booties, even knowing that I've got a perfectly valid work visa. And he's like, how you doing today? I'm like, what? He's like, I said, how are you doing? I was like, good. Saluting. Yeah. It's like, you don't have to do that. But
nothing to declare. I didn't ask you if you had anything. Do you have something to declare? No.
But I think the willies had been put up me metaphorically by manager Charlie, who called me the night before the flight, and he was like, have you ever gone through immigration with a work visa before? I was like, no. And he was like, all right, we need to talk. He's like, whenever they ask you what you're doing here, don't fucking stutter. Don't stutter, which is exactly what you need to hear when you're already nervous. But he's like, don't stutter. He's like, I went through once with another crew. He's like, and one guy said, and they held us there for 3 hours. I was like, oh shit. And then he's like, rule 2 of the 2 rules, no jokes. Which, when you're naturally a genius comedian like us, that's pretty hard to turn off that switch. But I was nervous because I'm walking through the queue, looking ahead, expecting these guys to be super serious, buttoned up, borderline hoping for it. And then I see them cracking jokes.
Wow.
And I'm going, what if they make a joke? Do I laugh? Can I not joke, but they can joke? This is some kind of fucked up power dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, your line seems nicer than mine. We had pretty straightened people, not cracking a smile, barely looking you in the eyes.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have joined the immigration line.
I think
Use my Irish passport.
I think it's honestly because walking through the line again, I'm hamming it up a little bit, but it is true. Anyone who's gone to America, they'll have their stories of being grilled, and it's fine. You just got to like tell them, be very specific about what you're doing. But it is funny to watch the other people going through the immigration queue, because for every one person like me who, when they ask what I'm doing, I got to be like, hello, sir, I'm working with this company, sir, to do these shows on these dates.
Yeah.
There are 25 lads from Essex.
Right, right.
Somehow already burnt, flip-flops on, fedora hat, drunk from the flight. And they're like, what are you doing here, sir? And they basically are just like, I'm here to have a piss about, meet some birds.
Yeah.
And that immigration officer has no idea what they're talking about.
Well, you made it through at least. That's the important thing.
I did. We do have to do a quick debrief on everyone's been there, and I'm sure the people are dying to know. I never actually flown with Rory, really, unbelievably. In all the years we've known each other, we were like, fuck, we never done a trip like this before. I didn't know what flying with Rory would be like, so let's dissect the entertainment and distraction strategy, let's say.
Yeah, I'll say, if you're doing a review right now of flying with Rory, that was a very unconventional flight.
Right, you want to defend yourself very quickly.
Yeah. Because not that I think I was necessarily a bad partner to fly with, but usually my flight involves many more rum and cokes and lots of fun, like syncing up movies at the same time.
Okay.
Eating our meals and swapping out bits we don't like for other bits. It's a great time.
Whereas this time, I can confirm Rory put on his noise cancelling headphones within 5 minutes and didn't take them off until we landed.
I said, don't talk to me till we hit American soil, and then passed out before the plane left the runway.
Rory said, silencio, por favor.
He's not lying. I pretty much did. I was so shattered by the time we actually sat down on that plane.
You hadn't slept. I mean,
that was brutal.
I mean, it is true. If you had been on normal Rory mode, I probably would be giving you a negative Yelp review.
Yeah.
But tired Rory was, a dream, because you were doing your own thing. I was doing my own thing. I was the middle seat. You were the aisle. You did not complain, did not fuss when I needed to go to the toilet.
Not at all.
Granted, like I said, it was only twice, so that would have been a little overkill if he was annoyed. And yeah, generally, Rory didn't. I joked to him at the start that because he had a neck pillow, and I was like, oh, nice, you bought the neck pillow. And you were like, yeah, did you not bring a neck pillow? I said, brother, you're my neck pillow.
Which might be the sweetest thing Kit's ever said to me.
Although I think I was asleep for about an hour. I think you were asleep too. I don't think I did flop onto you.
You didn't.
Girlfriend style.
Unfortunately, there's enough neck pillow for both of us.
And they had those, the headrest had that little flip out bit.
The curvature.
Which stops your head from lolloping onto the guy next to you.
Yeah. I think, you got about 1 hour or so. I got about 3 hours. It's quite funny because Kit and I are similar in a lot of ways, but it's times like traveling together when you see the differences in the similarities.
Right.
Halfway through the flight, I take out my Nintendo Switch. Pre-flight, I downloaded a little game called The Witcher 3, one of the highest rated open world RPG games of all time.
Right,
probably
released. Would take like 200 hours gameplay to finish the bish.
Enormous immersive world, really endless possibilities. And simultaneously, Kit pulls out of his backpack a Game Boy Advance from probably 2001 with Mario Kart that moves at approximately 6 frames per second.
It's basically Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo ported to the Game Boy Advance, yes.
Not even headphones plugged into it. He's raw dogging that game, just looking down at the tiniest screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the kind of thing where someone else on that plane would say they saw a time traveler.
Well, in all my times flying, I think I've mentioned this story before. In all my times flying, we've seen a few mad things on the plane, but normally, for the most part, people on planes these days are like, everyone's a big baby. Everyone needs iPad.
Yep.
Everyone needs blanket. Everyone needs iPad. And if you look around
Chalky milk, if chalky
if
milk
it's
is
going,
available, yeah.
If you look around in any long haul flight, it's a lot of grown adults with their little iPad, whether it's a little iPhone, whether it's a big screen, small screen. Everyone's got the screen, and that's what they do the entire flight. I did tell a story on the after party about a time traveler. That's not who I'm going to talk about. But whenever me and Danielle last flew to LA, there was an elderly Chinese woman who I sat beside. And I know exactly where she was from because she made me fill out her immigration form for her because she didn't read or write English. So I could tell you what province she's from because I had to fill it all out. But that was quite cool. I think I've mentioned it maybe on the main podcast a long time ago. But she was built Diffington, because your mind is blown by me with a merely 16-bit games console to keep me company and 2 AA batteries and a copy of a complimentary Red Bull Bulletin to read.
That was also fucked up. I haven't seen that, I don't think, in my entire life. On the way to the flight, Kit grabs some of the complimentary newspapers that they leave out for people. And I'm like, you got to spit your gum out or something, bud? Why are you grabbing that?
Yeah. It's like, you're going to wipe your ass with that Financial Times? That's a nice idea.
Yeah, he was flying like a 1980s businessman.
Come on, man. You think I've got the kind of dinero to be splashing out in the New York Times paper supplement? I will always take the free newspaper. But I didn't read it, of course. But this woman, she sat, right, get this.
Sure.
No movie.
Okay.
No music. She never turned on, no, she did turn on the screen, but of course only to see where the flight was, the flight tracker.
That's psycho activity.
To crank it up to the next level, she sat bolt upright, not against the back of her seat for 12 hours.
So not only didn't put the seat back and recline it, she didn't even sit in the seat.
She sat in her, just using her core strength, sitting forward in the seat.
Jesus. That's hardcore.
Really, like low-key, like Iron Man triathlon level, David Goggins levels of focus.
Where was this? What was the flight path? Where were you going?
I believe it was the same, London to LA.
That's crazy. That's such a long flight to not rest up against the chair.
Just thinking.
God, I can't be alone with my thoughts for like 2 minutes, let alone a 9-hour international flight. That's terrifying.
So,
you saw me on that flight. I was basically listening to a podcast while playing games on my phone with Christopher Nolan's Tenet playing in the background. No audio.
I will say that was slightly disturbing. I did know you do this, because lots of people do it.
Yeah.
But I thought you were playing, because we talked about it. I was like, oh, yo, Tenet's on there. That's a fire movie. You were like, oh, I haven't seen it. I need to watch it. I was like, oh, for sure, do it. I was a little disturbed to see Rory was playing Witcher while, quote unquote, watching Tenet.
Yeah, because there were bits where like I could feel Kit over my shoulder
watching the movie,
Tenet,
of course.
Like while my head is like down playing The Witcher, and I can see Kit beside me just being like, oh, you're... Look, this is an important scene here. Just make sure you are getting
're
it.
missing an Easter egg. I just don't want to. Yeah.
Oh, that bit's gonna come back later. That visual. That's a whole thing. Yeah. Rory, did you see that? And I'm like, yeah. No, I got it. You're like, fuck. Shit. I'm like, you can watch Tenet if you want. I'm getting all of this.
Well, you aren't. You surely aren't. I mean, you also fell asleep an hour before the end.
I'm like, I get the gist of it, by the way. Miss half of it, fall asleep, and at the end, I think I told you I thought it was shit. And you're like, I know you didn't watch it.
Because, you say you thought I was an analog man in a digital age. I felt 1,000 years old just watching movies with arms folded, paying attention. The way Rory was like triple multitasking. So you watched Tenet.
You're like, it's crazy that, with Tenet, the Christopher Nolan decided
It's not called Tenant, by the way. Tenet.
Tenet. Yeah, whatever. I get whatever, it's close. It's crazy he made another movie all about dreams like Inception. You're like, no, you just fell asleep during the movie.
Yeah, how did you get away with that? Did you watch anything other than Tenet? I don't remember.
I didn't.
Okay, it's long anyway.
Yeah, it really was quite long. And there wasn't really much to choose from on that flight. I'll be honest with you.
It wasn't great. I watched what was the first movie? I watched John Wick 4.
Great movie.
A great plane movie as well, because let's face it doesn't take a lot of brain power to keep up with that plot.
I think it's either a great plane movie or a great cinema movie.
Well, it's both. I mean, that's the magic.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Maybe not sit at home and watch it, but for both of those, it's really good. And then you watched another movie that I was actually kind of jealous of because I wanted to watch it, which was the Weird Al Yankovic movie starring Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes.
Which made me remember...
A Roku original.
You know, Kit and I have had our fair share of TV ideas in our lifetime. Do you remember the first ever TV show... Sorry, no. The first ever movie plot idea we ever came up with?
I actually do, but I'll let you tell it.
It involves Daniel Radcliffe.
It does, yes.
I don't remember if the plot was any deeper than this, but I think it involved Bill Murray going back in time to stop himself from wasting his life partying.
Yeah.
So he goes back in time to warn his past self, who's played by Daniel Radcliffe. But they end up just partying for 24 hours and having a great time together. And then he gets shot back into the future. And maybe the metaphor is like he realized it was worth it the whole time. Or maybe he gets back and he's like, fuck, I'll never get another chance. Like nothing changed. There's comedy in that too.
Yeah, it's really dumb. But the more you think about it, the more it makes sense. There's so many elements. There's like a buddy cop vibe of these two working together. There is a Scrooge kind of It's a Wonderful Life moral story. There's a Van Wilder college partying angle to it all.
Yeah.
I mean, what's maybe most fascinating about the pitch is that I think when we came up with that is so long ago that Daniel Radcliffe wasn't even outed as like an alcoholic yet.
Is he now?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I didn't even know
You never
that.
see the 10 pints for Gryffindor meme? I don't know if he's like a self-professed, I don't know if he's through rehab. I actually don't even know if he's sober. But he had a problem, during the Harry Potter days. He became too famous too fast.
I'm not over that. 10 pints for Gryffindor.
And he went off the rails, and he was like a mad drinker. And
that's crazy. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the joke. I'm laughing at the meme.
I think it's fine. I don't think he ever
seems to be great now.
Killed anyone crashing his car.
Yeah.
But there's like photos that you can look up from back in his like heyday when he would just like, when celebrities get to the drinking level where they're just turning up to parties of just like civilians.
Right,
hey, where's the booze? Where's the girls? There's photos of him at like student parties in England. I think there's one of him at like, is it like, I don't know, like a football match, after party, a rugby match or something, and he's like drinking out of a trophy, and that's where the 10 pints for Gryffindor meme comes from.
I mean, it's funny to talk about that and be like, yeah, that's truly, you can tell when things have gone off the rails. It's like, I think we're probably days away from us being in somebody's dorm room at a university campus, drinking beer through a funnel after one of these live shows.
It's like, yeah, dude, he really had a problem. He was drinking with his fans. That's fucked up. As if that isn't the business plan for the next 14 days.
Yeah, we planned a whole tour around drinking with our fans, essentially.
Yeah, we named the tour that. But that was... I won't say a good movie, but I will say highly entertaining. And I think Daniel Radcliffe has come full circle. He's a legend, and what a great thing to be able to say. Former guest on the show, friend of the show, Rainn Wilson.
Woo!
Puts in a stellar performance too.
Yeah, he's in that movie. I believe is Weird Al's manager. I think.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out if my returning flight, which is slightly nicer, offers the same in-flight entertainment as Norse.
Yeah.
Norse, not even Norse Airways. I think it's just called Norse.
Is it Norwegian or is it an Australian saying nice? It's
Norse Airlines.
It's hard to say.
But hey, we made it. We arrived in LAX. Kind of had that cool rock star moment where you arrive and it says that, welcome to Los Angeles, and there's the Hollywood kind of poster. And you get out into the public area, and as you're walking out, there's huge crowds of people like waving people in. People have like flowers, and it's an exciting thing. And, I was coming out there with all my luggage, day one of the U.S. tour, looking at all of the crowd welcoming us in. And I was like, damn, I didn't realize we were so big with the teenage Korean girl demographic.
Yeah, because like, the ACAS statistics don't really show that.
Right.
But like, there's obviously a bump we didn't know about there.
Because there was probably probably about 200 teenage Korean girls, all with signs, cheering and stuff as we came on. Was it for us? Hard to say. I couldn't read it. I don't read Korean.
They wouldn't really give me eye contact, but
right, but maybe in a cool way. They want to like respect.
Yeah, because kind of in Japan and Korea, I assume they don't really make eye contact as much as we do in the West either.
Yes, exactly. Kit also said that he did see a
boy band.
A boy band
behind me in the immigration queue. They came off a Japan Air flight. That's not a joke.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it could have been for presumably the enormous K-pop or J-pop band that was arriving in LAX on the same kind of window of arrival that we were. But again, hard to say.
The signs were written in Korean, so we didn't know. They might have said "This Paranormal Life" in Korean.
They could have Kit and Rory. Yeah, exactly. But we made it. We got back to our hotel pretty late last night. Went out to eat together at a ramen place, and I think I said all of 7 words to you for the entire meal.
Noise cancelling headphones still on. Witcher 3 on Switch to keep his brain functioning.
Rewatching Tenet backwards because I thought it might make more sense that way.
Yeah, a lot of the movie does play backwards, and yeah, we hadn't because we. I guess I wasn't just complaining about being like annoying earlier, saying we didn't eat on the flight, but it is true. It meant that we hadn't eaten in like, I don't know how it shakes out, but it was like basically a day between us getting to
24 hours
between getting to the airport and then the flight, immigration, getting into the town, and then getting ready to go get something to eat. It was a long ass time. So that meal had a lot to live up to, and I think it worked out.
I almost cried when the first bit of rice and tuna hit my mouth. I could have just
crispy rice
started bawling my eyes out. It was so delicious. But now we're here. This is being recorded on the Thursday, just one day before our first show.
Ooh, so yes. So if you are listening to this is probably going to go up. It's going to go up before the show on Friday, but on the day of the show in LA.
The day of, it might be directly when we are performing the show, which is kind of terrifying. I don't know how prepared you feel to get up and perform in front of hundreds of people.
We have some work to do.
We literally do. That's not even a metaphor to kind of get us excited. I have so much work to do.
Now, the show is in a great place. We put a ton of work into it with Phil over the last several months to where it is in a very good place. But, like normal for us, our show is usually a bit more complicated than your average live podcast.
For sure.
We're talking just scripts, music cues, kind of just fun moments throughout the show that are like planned with Phil. So we just got to make sure that they all work and that all our gear works and all that. But
yeah, I think we're going to do some rehearsals tonight in the hotel room. Room for a couple more dudes in this bed. We'll get some pillows over there. We'll make it work. And then it's, not much time until we're performing right here at the Vermont. And then we're hitting the road and we're on our way over to San Francisco.
Yeah, up to NorCal and then on to the rest of the country. But
that's terrifying.
I couldn't be more excited to get up on that stage. It feels surreal. What I learned from last tour was that really like the tour is fun in itself, but it really is obviously actually doing the show and meeting everyone afterwards. That I think it's obviously hopefully fun for the people like yourselves listening, coming to see the show, buying a ticket and hanging out afterwards. But for us, it is like so much deeper. It's like it all becomes real. Like for 6 years, we've been making the show, and for 6 years, most of the people listening have been on this continent. They've been in North America.
Yeah.
And but that has never, as cool as that has been, and as honored as we've always been for that to be the case, it's never really felt real. Because we can't, we can talk to you guys online, but it's not until, people are standing in front of you that your brain kind of puts it all together.
I don't know why I can't imagine talking to this Paranormal Life fan with an American accent.
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of thing.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be so cool is, as you said, after the show, hanging out and meeting everyone, taking pictures and stuff, and just meeting American fans. That seems so fucking weird to me.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for it. I genuinely can't wait. Should probably finish my script.
Oh, whoa.
Should probably finish my
bit too
script
close
for
to the
tomorrow.
bone. Bit too close to the bone.
And I will do it. I promise that I will. But, it's, what is it now? It's only 12:30.
It's midnight.
Right before we hit record on this, we both discovered there's a rooftop pool at this hotel.
Yeah, and bar. Yeah.
And a bar. And, first off, I think I want to just do a little investigation there.
Yeah, I don't think we have time. Yeah.
Just have a quick little swim. Just test it out. Because while the sun's out there popping,
That's every day
take
here,
some
though,
pics.
so
Take some pics for the IG, for the OnlyFans. Just get that content taken care of first.
we could do the rehearsal first.
Sure. And then
do that tomorrow morning
I saw
or
a
something?
poster for spicy margaritas. And I'm like, how spicy could they be? Yeah. Maybe that's my story for tomorrow. Seeing how many...
Well, it wouldn't be paranormal.
See the spirits...
Yeah,
involved in the making of the tequila.
And that's a fine pun for 1 second of the show, but you got to fill another 45 yourself talking about a paranormal tale. So
it's going to tomorrow night is going to be Kit hosting an incredible story, and then when it comes to me, I'm going to put on my noise canceling headphones and say, "I can't do this. You got to close."
I got to multitask. I can't be alone with my thoughts.
I'm going to do a whole story and you're like, that's the opening chapter of The Witcher 3. That's the prologue tutorial for The Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch.
Geralt walks down Hollywood Boulevard.
So, hey, if you're listening to this and you're excited about hearing the news of us on the road exploring, head on over to thisparanormallife.com, where I believe for some shows there are still tickets available.
There are. Absolutely.
Because we're also, we're here, but then we're coming back to the UK and performing all over as well. So it's going to be a long old tour.
It's the same show. It's the same show as well. So, rest assured, if you're in either continent and you're wondering if you're missing out on anything, you are not.
Well, it's the same show, but it's not the same show. It's a different show.
I should say it's the same
but,
tour. It's the same show in the sense of all the production is going to be at all of the shows. No one's missing out on anything. But the show is, yes, to be clear, the scripts are all the stories, the things we're investigating are localized every single night and different every single night.
Yeah. Is that an unsustainable amount of work, you might ask?
That you convinced me to do? Yeah, absolutely.
It is. Yeah, well, we won't play the blame game yet, as I said. It's...
I'm not even really playing the blame game because I think last time I checked, I kind of am prepared.
Right. You don't want to blame me because in some weird world, you now have all your scripts finished and I don't. So it's kind of my fault.
Right.
And I'm willing to admit that. I'm a big enough guy.
But I'm glad you convinced me into it. It's a great idea, a great show.
It's going to be awesome.
Bringing 2 unique investigations to the crowd every night.
Exactly. Now I'm just thinking, we will be recording more after parties and a ton of cool videos and behind the scenes stuff on socials, on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere. But when we record our next after party, where are we going to be?
Oh,
right?
Shoot.
That's what I was thinking. We'll probably shoot past San Francisco.
Yeah, we're going to miss San Fran. So we'll give you an update on San Fran. I would guess
maybe
then,
New York?
No, I would have thought Chicago. I think Chicago might be but then Chicago's midweek, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we'll already be in New York. That would be nuts.
And New York I think we're in New York for 4 days. It's one of the longer stays.
Yeah.
So that could be quite a fun one. New York is
over the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nuts. Wow.
Might be New York. Either New York or Chicago.
Yeah, we're gonna be, we're telling you a lot about our time in LA. We're gonna be speed running San Fran and Chicago for you in terms of updates. But follow us on socials if you want to see a little more behind the scenes.
I really hope people enjoy these kind of very behind the scenes, on the road style podcasts. Because I've listened to a few podcasts before where they've just had to do this when they're touring.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I was like, this is so much fun hearing the stories and like the behind the scenes stuff. So hopefully it's fun for you guys listening or watching to this. And let us know if you enjoy it. We can give you even more behind the scenes stuff for future podcasts.
Yeah, and I should say, I think normally as well, we'd be like, in terms of future after parties, we'll probably have a bit more like paranormal stuff that we'll actually go see to update on. I know I've already shouted out there's a spot I want to go to in San Francisco. It's part of my story. And in other places we're going to go. But I think the nature of, I mean, we've also only been here for like 12 hours, but because LA is the first show, we would like to get out there and see something, but we've got to kind of knuckle down and make sure the show is ready to rock.
I know.
And then we'll be a little more free.
It's such a shame because this week's episode was the Count of Saint Germain.
Oh,
and
yeah.
as we know, like his fucking Triangle Book of Alchemy is like 35 minutes away at the Getty Research Center.
Yeah, of course.
But I just don't know if we're going to have time. There's so much to do before tomorrow evening. So we'll see. But maybe we have to plan a future trip back here. All expenses paid, of course, to investigate that book at a later date.
Well, I mean, yeah, we really could and should. We're saying on the way here that I haven't been here in 4 years or so. Because Danielle and I got engaged on this trip the last time we were here 4 years ago.
That's crazy.
And since then we got married and had our daughter and stuff. Whereas, yeah, Rory, you've been back a number of times. This is old hat for you.
Yeah, last time I was back was I think 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Visiting my sister who lives just in kind of north LA in the suburbs. So yeah, I've had a little bit more experience, but it's just a great place. LA is a great place.
So we're certainly not going to leave it as long until next time. We're going to come back, as soon as we can, really.
Very soon. Just got to get Kit another visa real quick.
Oh my God. I know it would yeah. I mean, honestly, that is the truth though, is at least if we are coming back again to like, I don't know, go to a conference or something, or like, like a UFO conference, or shoot a video somewhere. It's like, I probably need to look into it, but I could probably get away with doing that just as a tourist,
Yeah.
And not going through. I think it's really more about like, I mean, I probably wouldn't turn up to the airport with like a black magic camera ready to, make it look like I was working. But I think it's more about they just care whenever you're like charging people to see a show. They're like, hey, buddy, that's work.
That's real
We
work.
need tax from that.
Yeah, not just guesting on podcasts or things like that.
And then once it's work, it's like a whole other thing.
Does stealing an ancient book of alchemy, kind of, does that mean work?
Yeah, it is illegal,
work?
but it's not technically work.
They still reject us at the borders. Oh, I guess that's fair. That is fair.
No, I was too honest.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in to this special edition of the After Party, live from Rory's hotel bed.
Woo!
Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully there's a whole bunch of you that we're going to see very soon at the live shows.
At the Vermont, in Hollywood, and beyond.
Woo! Very excited. Stick around to hear the whole journey behind the scenes and more. And hope you guys enjoyed this After Party, and we'll see you again on Tuesday for another paranormal tale.
See you then.